Good evening. Many thanks for joining us on Politics HQ tonight. These stories made our headlines. Let's start by telling you that the Senate has confirmed former Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, as Minister of Defense after an intense 3-hour screening that rejected the usual bow and go tradition. Senators subjected him to rigorous questioning on defense funding, intelligence gaps, rising banditry, kidnappings, and concerns over alleged troops withdrawal before recent attacks. Senate President Godswill Akpabio insisted on full scrutiny, saying Nigerians deserve answers on insecurity as it worsens nationwide. In his response, General Musa vowed that there would be no negotiation with criminals, warning states to stop ransom deals that undermine national security. He also stressed that the military cannot defeat insecurity alone and called for stronger national collaboration. Take a listen.
Because there's issues of kidnapping coming from those areas. Collaboration is critical. No one individual can do this together. We must work. So it's a no to negotiation. There is no negotiation with any criminal. And I think that should be made very, very clear. We are working together, we're going to work together with the NSS office to ensure that states don't adopt such things, because those things compromise security. And to tell those that nobody, if you negotiate with them, they will never abide by it. It's just a moment. When they do that, they want to buy time to buy more arms, and then they were going to come. And we have seen it repeatedly. There are even localities that have done that. They still come after them. So, sir, it's a total ban on that, total ban on illegal mining, and all those other aspects that are bringing these things together. So I think we must be able to do that. Working with the state governments particularly, why the Southwest seem to be doing very well, sir, is because all the governors agreed together. And that's why regionally, governors must come together, because 2, 3 are better than 1. And that's why for us to them to understand that the bandits do not respect border. They do not at all. In fact, where they get their strength is the ability to run when you attack them, especially around Sokoto area. They enter Niger. And once they get to Niger, you can't touch them until they come back in. And that's why I said it's important that for the multinational joint task force in N'Djamena, we need to also build up their capacity to hold up down towards the border with Mali and Burkina Faso, because we're beginning to have those, and that's why we're having those incursions into Kwara coming down southwest, and we must stop them not to get further than that. I think action has already been done and put in place. It is for us to harmonize all this, firstly to ensure that all the MDS know they have a role to play. And so one important aspect is our legal system that we need to look at. Most of our laws look obsolete, and because sometimes justice is delayed, then it becomes a problem. Because once punishment is meted immediately and action is done, it serves as deterrence to others. And that's why I think critical that we must be. And so I mentioned that all the MDS need to do the legal service, the correctional service, the civil defense. All mining activities have to be monitored properly, because that's another source of funding. All areas that they are getting their funds for, we must look at those aspects and stop and prevent them.
The All Progressives Congress has announced dates for its National Caucus and National Executive Council meetings. According to a notice signed by the party's National Secretary, Senator Bola Basiru, the National Caucus will meet on Monday, that's December 15th, 2025 at 6 p.m. while the NEC meeting will hold the next day. That's Tuesday, December 16th at 12 p.m. Both meetings are scheduled for the Bouquet Banquet Hall of the Presidential Villa in Abuja. The National Caucus, made up of top party leaders, including the National Chairman, National Secretary serving, and former President and Vice Presidents, who are party members, governors, National Assembly leaders, and state chairmen, will meet in line with Article 11 of the APC Constitution. The NEC, another key organ of the party under Article 13, brings together national officers, zonal representatives, and members elected at the National Convention. However, on the program tonight, our focus: questions swirl around President Tinubu's ambassadorial picks. Are these appointments a matter of political patronage or strategic move in turbulent times? And beyond the nominees, a bigger question looms: do Nigerians have the right to seek foreign assistance, particularly in tackling insecurity, or does this undermine national sovereignty? Now, the debate is intense, the stakes even higher. Welcome. This is Politics HQ. I am Dapo Adigboye. Let's get the answers. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's latest ambassadorial pick has ignited political backlash, with critics questioning their credibility, the rigor and the vetting process, and what these choices mean for Nigeria's diplomatic standing. But behind the outrage lies a deeper national dilemma. As insecurity intensifies and trust in state institutions erodes, should Nigerians turn to foreign powers for protection when their own government appears unable to guarantee safety? Or does this risk crossing a dangerous line, inviting external influence at the expense of national sovereignty? We unpack all of this at this hour. Well, joining me to discuss this and more, and my guest at this time is Maobuye Nangi Obu, is the Secretary General of the Ijaw Youth Council Worldwide, and also Nnamdi Chiekwu is an author and a member of the Civilian Accountability and Transparency Initiative. Gentlemen, thank you for your time. All right, let me start with you, Maobuye, and let's first start with one of the biggest stories right now, and that is a while ago when we introduced the show as part of my headline, Nigeria's new defense minister, Christopher Musa. What lies ahead? He was, of course, part of the security chiefs before he was relieved, and right now he's been elevated to becoming the defense minister. I would like your take on his person, looking at his track record, his career, and what basically you feel lies ahead. Would you say, Mr. President, when it comes to this one, really aced it?
Okay, so thank you, Dapo. Good evening, viewers. Basically, like I said, as much as I'm I'm always critical on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I also want to tell you that Tinubu didn't do this because he wanted to do it. He was forced to do it because he doesn't really have what it takes to lead the country. You know, he knows those who are fueling Boko Haram. They were part of those who started Boko Haram. In fact, Boko Haram came into being. I am a tactical example of Boko Haram. I had my first degree in the University of Maiduguri, and I was very vocal. I could remember in 2007, when we were about to write our final exams, Boko Haram came into our campus. And, all of the issues that happened that, led to the killing of the first Boko Haram leader under President Yaradua and all of that. I will be able to tell Nigerians what really happens with Boko Haram. It's a political tool that the northern politicians brought into the north, thinking it's same with the Niger Delta ex-agitators or agitation. We are asking for different things here in the Niger Delta. Boko Haram is there killing people, whether Muslims or Christians. Now, coming to the question, the gentleman that had just been made, the defense minister, he was serious before. Yes, a lot of people, it seemed to maybe whip up a lot of sentiments because of one or two statements he made. I'm not a fan, but I'm not against him. I also agree a lot of people are saying he's going to do well. It's not about the person. It's about the man who's stable or who is in charge of giving the last order. The GCFR, who remains the president of the country, who knows who these Boko Haram sponsors are. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the only person so far that can really end the insurgents in the north, not Christopher. Christopher will just probably get himself soiled and burn his fingers because there are certain commands that the president, being the GCFR, will say, no, don't do that, and he won't be able to do it. And let me tell you, it's also going to be a target, not to motivate people with statements, even at the level of the Senate. His screening was one of the best screenings you would see or have seen so far. Yes, he understands what the job is all about. We know that. Let me tell you, in 2000, during the time of Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, when this thing started, I would always remember Ijaw Youth. He chased these bandits, and because of that, they wanted them out, and they took him out because also the then president, couldn't withstand the pressure from Nigerians because he wanted the election. Yes, sadly so, and also still didn't get the re-election.
All right.
He took out Eureka. So the point is, it's really not about the current Christopher, General Christopher. He wouldn't really be the only person to do the job. Tinubu can still tell him not to go into some certain areas. And if these guys that are sponsoring these people that are Tinubu's friends are not called to question, there is nothing Christopher would do. But it's a good pick, compared to the last inert person that was there that actually did not even understand what to do, that was aiding and abetting. But this guy, Matawale, is still there. Matawale is known to negotiate with Boko Haram. Matawale is one of those that we read in the news that calls the people to say his boys, the Boko Haram leaders or bandits are his boys. And when he was governor, they come to government house to take drink tea and coffee with him. And he's still there. He's not being removed.
So basically what you're saying is...
And CD Musa, was removed. And because of the hue and cry of, Donald Trump and Nigerians, and because of the internet sensation of Musa, they had to bring him back because he made some very vocal statements and took a lot of steps. He did so well. He's a good soldier, no doubt. So they're not bringing him because they believe in him, or they're bringing him because so far it's just to quarrel and make Nigerians stop abusing them. But I don't think they're going to mess him up. I'm going to tell you, they'll mess him up.
All right, let me leave you for a moment. And bring Nnamdi into the conversation. Nnamdi, I mean, you yes, of course, are pretty much passionate about Nigeria, and you've been following all of the security travels in the country. With this recent addition to maybe some would say not an addition, but re-addition again, because it was part of the security chiefs before it was relieved, and right now is back, in the security cabinet of Mr. President. Would you say that General Christopher Musa, with his addition to the makeup right now, do you see some green light in this fight against the insurgents?
Thank you for the question. I think the frank answer to that is I don't see the reappointment of General Musa or bringing him back into the defense fold as going to be catalytic in making a change in the insecurity issues that we're facing. I don't have confidence that the combination of Minister Musa, Matawale, and Ribadu, who's the National Security Advisor, is going to make that difference. Because I think we're really underestimating to the extent that the Nigerian security apparatus has been compromised. And that's from top to bottom. And that's between the police force and the military. And what I mean by compromise is that to a degree, it's been infiltrated by likely Islamist elements, and also corrupt elements. And then we also have the addition of the fact that there are some political members and even members of this administration who are likely compromised themselves. And the evidence of this is given by the brazenness, absolute brazenness of the terrorist behavior and conduct across Nigeria at the moment. I want to highlight a point that today in the FCT, there are many schools, federal college universities that have been shut down because they can't guarantee the security of the children. Parents have been called to come and take their children home. That shows you, and that's happening in the FCT, in the backyard of the presidency. And so if the presidency and the FCT minister cannot guarantee the safety of students in Abuja, what hope do we have? And I don't think bringing in Mr. Musa is going to change that to a great degree. And I don't think the existing infrastructure is going to change that. I think what needs to happen is a wholesale assessment and analysis to root out the compromise elements and to have some accountability and transparency in the defense ministry. So we can have some semblance of a plan to address the horrific insecurity issues that we're facing. But the president and his cabinet have a long way to go if we think they're going to make a difference in the insurgency that we're seeing across Nigeria at the moment.
All right, thank you very much. Well, we'll go on a quick break. When we return, we'll extend the conversation to the ambassadorial picks of Mr. President. This has also continued to generate a reaction. Stay with us. We will be right back. I still have Maobuye Nangi Obu is the Secretary General, Ijaw Youth Council Worldwide, and Nnamdi Chiekwu is an author and member of the Civilian Accountability and Transparency Task Force. Gentlemen, thank you for staying with me. All right, now let's switch the conversation or expand it to the ambassadorial picks of Mr. President, the nominees he has presented that should be confirmed by the House. I'd like that list to come on the screen. Of course, you can see it on your screen there, non-career ambassadors. You've seen 17 by number there. Part of the nominees include Chief Femi Fani Kayode, Barrister Nkechi Linda Ofechukwu. You also have Reno Omokri. You have the former governor of Abia State, Ikpeazu, amongst others. I'm coming back to you now, Maobuye. Looking at this list and Nigeria's, what I call it, global standing and its image right now, would you say that this list is more of competence over compensation?
Okay, so I would like to put it this way first. I'm not a carrier of bad news, and I've always been known for fighting for young people because I'm a young person. So I like the fact that young people are making the list today. But I really wouldn't say it's because of competence. Let me try to say a few things about that. On the list, you will see Abia State. There are 3 nominees from Abia State. The former failed governor, Ikpeazu, I don't know what the criterion is, because we've had a president in this country before who were told that did not have a certificate or even primary school certificate, and they said that it doesn't really matter. Now, it's not about being a certificated illiterate or, I don't know what the qualification is to becoming an ambassador, but that's what I do. Now, another failed Abia governor, Orji's Okalo's daughter, is also making the list. I really don't know her exploits and what she understands about certain things, but this is not to say she shouldn't be given that shot. But she had a father who, ran the state of Abia from his vest pocket for 8 years, and is in the Senate. Probably is going to retire there until God calls it. Now we also have another nominee from Abia again. I think there are about 3 of them, 3 persons from Abia. Ikpeazu, Orji's Okalo's daughter, and all that. Then come to Reno. Who wants to listen to Reno? It's not because he's against anybody or so, but this is somebody who, supposedly went to Chicago State University to tell us that the president was a drug baron. He was the one who gave us all the facts and figures about it. He was the one who, according to him, spent his money, went there, made pictures, and interviewed people and told us the president did not graduate from Chicago State University. And this same person, all of a sudden, because there's no money, when you talk, people would say this. So I really don't know what Tinubu is all about. But the truth is, being an ambassador, whichever country you're being posted to, you are like the president of that country, of Nigeria in that country, representing Nigeria. So is Reno the type of person that wants to represent me as a Nigerian? But well, if Tinubu can be my president, how much more somebody like Reno? So it's about a country where people now show what we call cerebral malaise, intellectual laziness.
Maybe I should put it to you this way. On a scale of 1 to 10,
okay,
on a scale of 1
yes,
to 10,
please.
10 being the highest, how much of confidence would you say you have on the list, the nominee picks?
No, I'm going to protest on the list, first of all. States like River State, because we have a master, the owner of the state, River State, he has been compensated with becoming another governor of FCT. So everything must pass through him. So there's no nominee from Rivers. When Abia can get 3 persons. Now, a place like Bayelsa, we are only having a career, what is it called? Ambassadorial nominee. A career ambassadorial nominee. So meaning somebody who has passed through the crucibles and furnace of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Unlike these, neophytes that are coming in. Look at FFK. What value would FFK add to anybody? It tells that Tinubu is only but waiting to come up with what we call propaganda machine against his 2027 election, because that's what people like FFK is known for. Abuse people, insult women, just go against certain people, shut people out and all that, and try to twist his tongue, tell you he graduated from Cambridge and all of that. No value, nothing added so far. He's been minister even under Obasanjo. What is that thing the FFP has done now to go and become
So if you had to give it a figure,
ambassador?
I'm still going to insist that you give it a figure on the scale of 1
I'm
to
just
10.
saying that figure, a scale of 1 to 10. I'm just trying to tell you, whipping up my own sentiment because I represent an ethnic nationality called Ijaw people. Rivers State is an Ijaw, as an Ijaw man in Rivers State, we don't have any nominee. In Bayelsa State, we just have one person. In Akwa Ibom, where even the Senate president, the so-called number 3 man, is also there. I don't know how many nominees we have from Akwa Ibom. So for me, just like 2%, just 2. A scale of 1 to 10 is 2.
And maybe you are being generous with that too. I believe you are being generous too with the 2.
Super generous, because I need to give a figure, because if I say 0, okay, it looks like I'm just getting too emotional. But the truth is, what are the quality of persons that are there? Is it because your father is a former minister and because you've made so much noise about the president and you are now lying and Tinubu is just setting up a propaganda machine, or because Donald Trump has called us a disgraced nation? We are not a disgraced people, but a nation run by disgraced people. That's how Donald Trump would have captioned it. And people mostly filled with cerebral malaise, intellectual laziness.
Mr. Nangi Obu, thank you very much. I know you have a lot to say, but let me also ask Nnamdi, are you also towing the same line? If you were to score this, for you, this list, would you say it captures the kind of list you say, look, I'm good to go as a Nigerian, they can represent me anywhere in the world?
The list is laughable, to be honest with you, and I rate it very poorly. So first of all, the list shows a severe lack of imagination on behalf of the president. You would have thought that he would be creative and strategic in terms of the types of names, qualifications and backgrounds and antecedents that he would bring to the fore as far as the global ambassadors of Nigeria. And he has failed woefully in that respect. So there's a lack of imagination. But more worryingly, there's a shocking lack of awareness in terms of the geopolitical moment we're in the world. We are in a global environment where the rules-based world order is being shifted and changed right in front of us. It's being renegotiated. Economic, commercial, political fault lines are being changed and renegotiated right in front of us. And it's unfortunate that Africa, let alone Nigeria, has any kind of say in terms of what's happening. We are effectively a byproduct of this change or this shift in global tectonics. So to think that the president would nominate, quite frankly, some of the worst amongst us to go and represent Nigeria, to potentially negotiate on behalf of Nigeria, to have dialogue or express the views of Nigerians on the global stage in this moment is absolutely atrocious. And it shows a lack of seriousness. It shows that we're not a nation that has any kind of confidence, any kind of direction. And to extend it further, if we take this these nominations as a representative sample of the government's or Tinubu's policy since it's been in, they're in line actually from that regard. They're not too shocking. So for instance, if we take a look at the move to float the Naira, there's still evidence that the central bank is still supporting the Naira to a certain degree in the marketplace. If we look at the policy to remove subsidies, we've seen with the recent release of the NMPC financial statements that we are potentially still paying subsidies, and apparently 17 trillion almost in costs that have gone to so-called under recoveries and security pipelines, etc. So we're still hemorrhaging money, and we're still hemorrhaging potentially forex. Yes.
If I'm to throw a direct question to you, I mean, you spend the bulk of your time in the U.S. You are a Nigerian there. So if you were to sort of give recommendation as regards what you would like maybe the representative of Nigeria, the ambassador of Nigeria, right there where you are in the U.S. should possess, what recommendations, specific recommendations, would you put forward that this person needs to have or should bring to the table?
Yes, I think in this moment of great geopolitical upheaval, I think some experience would be important. And when I say experience, I mean specific experience in multilateral institutions, for example. So does the person have a background in working maybe with the UN, where they have had to deal with other nations or representatives of other nations? I think having somebody who has produced knowledge, maybe has worked in an international or respected global think tank, that has been responsible for policy creation, policy crafting. Has that person demonstrated a track record of delivering measurable societal benefits, whether they have been in various offices domestically or abroad? So we need people with tangible track records, but also people who have some kind of vision or an aligned vision with the president. But unfortunately, if the president doesn't have a vision for Nigeria on the global stage, and Nigeria has effectively become a houseboy that is told what to do, when to do it on the global stage, how can you expect the representatives of the country or of the president to have a vision? So these are the minimum requirements that I would think that we would need in today's world, where geopolitical maneuvering is so important, and given a voice and relevancy to Nigerians so important. And unfortunately, we haven't seen that in these appointments.
All right, thank you very much. Now, before we go on this, anyway, when we return, I'll be taking your final thoughts on this, particularly when it comes to some concerns as regards Nigeria's image on the global stage. What should be the focus in terms of the economy, in terms of politics, in terms of security, which of course has taken the center stage? Do stay with us, we'll be right back. Maobuye Nangi Obu is the Secretary General of the Ijaw Youth Council Worldwide, and also Nnamdi Chiekwu is an author and a member of the Civilian Accountability and Transparency Task Force. They're still my guest at this time. Gentlemen, thank you for staying with me. Now, I would go back to the U.S. President. The United States listed Nigeria as a country of particular concern. And of course, this has continued to generate reactions. And we've seen since that listing, the Nigerian government has been making frantic efforts to ensure it addresses many of the issues that have been highlighted. I'll just subsume it to a few. And what is expected of this, what I call it, ambassadorial nominees, some of those issues to be addressed. And that is the economy and security. I'm coming to you right now, Mr. Maobuye. How do you suggest these issues can be tackled, particularly within that tag, that name, title given to Nigeria as a country of particular concern?
Okay, so Dr. Thank you once again. First of all, Nigeria is a sovereign state, it's a sovereign nation, so we're not answerable to Donald Trump. However, what Donald Trump or Mr. Trump has said is, did he lie about it? That's the question. No, he's not lying about what's going on in Nigeria. Now, I'm also not here to also push the interest of saying, oh, it's just about Christians and all that. There's heavy insecurity in the north. And yes, Christians are mostly targeted by some hoodlums. However, there are also some casualties that are Muslims. Now, the point is, this thing is now beginning to get into other states. And before you know yourself, just here in Port Harcourt, there was a time they said they got apprehended some so-called Boko Haram elements and all of that, but recently, but that's by the way. So now, how well, why would somebody like Donald Trump tell Nigerian government what to do and they are running helter-skelter? Because Nigeria failed to also take care of itself. So, the prison with which we judge ourselves is what Donald Trump says. And that's why Tinubu concerns himself with what Donald Trump has said. If Donald Trump hasn't said what he has said or given all these sanctions that they've given to us, all of the so-called efforts that he's making today wouldn't have been made. They're just docile. So it tells you that indeed Mr. Trump is very correct by calling Nigeria a disgraced nation. But I would rather he says a nation, run by disgraced leaders and the likes of Tinubu and co. But now how best? The best way is very simple. You know who are the Boko Haram elements. You know their sponsors, and you know how to stop it. You stop this thing. It's not about appointing or reappointing or making some statements that will titivate the people. That's not what we want. We want actions. And the action is that just yank these people off, take them out. Take them out. I see myself as a Borno person. I like Maiduguri. I live in Maiduguri. I have a degree from the University of Maiduguri. Borno is my town. I can't go to Borno anymore. Borno is a peaceful place, indeed the home of peace, but I can't go there anymore. I'm from Rivers State, but I love Borno. So we need peace in Nigeria. This is not about Niger Delta or anything. So the Tinubu's government do not have the congruent ingredients to solve this problem because from the first place, they were ill-prepared before taking over the mantle of leadership through the back door. So Tinubu cannot and have not solved the problem. If you look at
you seem, I'm sorry, you seem to have absolutely no faith in the current administration's capacity to resolve.
And I will tell you, I'll answer it by telling you this. Very simple. You would see the people he has appointed to represent us at the level of other countries as ambassadors are people without tact and depth. Only for a few of them that are the career ambassadors, those who have passed through the crucibles and furnace. Look at our foreign affairs minister. He's a disgrace. So somebody who is to lead all of these persons.
Why do you think the foreign affairs minister is a disgrace?
What is it? Somebody who applies sentiment and is always his statements are skewed towards doing something one way because he wants to please a government, not the nation, not the image of Nigeria. Somebody who is ready to get a whole lot of disgrace himself even on TV, international TV. Tugak does not have what it takes to become foreign affairs minister, let alone having these disgraced persons like FFK, Reno Mokri, and these inexperienced, failed people like Ikpeazu, who have suckled and killed a lot of people in Abia State to become ambassadors. What are they going to do? They were given opportunities, for example, people like Ikpeazu, to run a state like Abia State for 8 years. What did he do? Now you're sending him out there to represent Nigerians. What will he do for us? So the truth is, I don't want to get emotional, but we need people with tact, depth, and breadth. People who have ability to lobby. These people do not have that qualification. And in Nigeria at this point, just like the gentleman there says, we need people, we need people with strategic plan. Nigeria should have a plan. Let me conclude by telling you this. Every time Nigeria goes to the UN to make an appearance, we only go there for one thing, to ask for more money. The Tinubu's administration have borrowed about we're owing about 192 trillion currently, 154 trillion dollars. That's what we're owing currently. Naira, sorry, about $94 billion is our debt. That means, as you are, Dakbo, you're owing, some countries about each of us, every Nigerian is supposed to pay about 620,000 to 650,000 naira to pay up our debts. So you and I speaking, I'm owing this world or some China, America, and the rest of them about 650,000 naira yourself. And where are all of these things going to? All right. So all they are there for is to set up a propaganda machine against 2027, not to solve our immediate problems.
Okay, thank you very much, Maobuye.
Maobuye,
thank you very much. Let me also ask you, Nnamdi, with, of course, the U.S. labeling Nigeria as a country of particular concern, do you see this list, in a way, addressing many of the issues that have been highlighted and maybe, just maybe, retooling the country's image in the right direction?
No, unfortunately, and what I'm about to say is not a question of demarketing Nigeria. I think one of the big conversations we need to have in Nigeria at the moment is whether we fit the definition of a failed state. And for me, there are 5 kind of dimensions of a failed state. One is that the government or the center no longer has power or monopoly over authority. We see that in the sense that there are territories in Nigeria where we're negotiating with terrorists and bandits to have some kind of say of what happens in those territories. We also have another dimension is the inability to deliver services to the people. That is quite evident in the healthcare sector, in the security sector, and so on, where the government cannot do the most simple thing. Another dimension is economic collapse. We have 61% of our population that are living in extreme poverty, with another 30% that are living in some sort of multi-dimensional poverty. A fourth element is political instability. We see that in the form of all various political interests moving to the APC and our democratic institutions being undermined left, right, and center. When you look at it objectively along those lines, Nigeria fits the definition of a failed state. And the additional insecurity that we're seeing, and again, we're seeing it in the FCT where children are being told to go home because the schools can't guarantee their safety. We're now moving to a point of a collapse state. So our issue has nothing to do with, or is much bigger than being designated a CPC. We are a sinking ship. And we don't have a captain in the form of Tinubu that can turn around this sinking ship. And I'd also like to actually take the bold step of saying that not a single Nigerian political party or political candidate can come and change what we are seeing today. Why? Because every single one of them lacks the intellectual capacity, lacks the character, and lacks the moral high ground to actually administer the medicine that Nigeria needs in order to recover itself. What we actually now are confronted with is to really initiate a radical change in Nigeria, which from my perspective means doing away with this 2027 election, which is just another ceremonial grandstanding event for one set of political gangsters to take the country over to another set of political gangsters. And we have to restructure. Where we've reached the point of no return. And as this insecurity goes from the north to the middle belt and comes down to the south, it is going to touch all of us and is touching all of us already. And the lack of awareness that I see amongst the political class and the elite class who think that some way, somehow they're going to be immune to this is absolutely shocking to me. We're sinking, we're dying, and no foreign interest is going to come and take care of these issues. Are squarely in the hands of Nigerians themselves. And one thing I would like to share again as a philosophical point before I leave is that people who cannot solve their own problems will not and do not deserve to survive. If we Nigerians, out of the 230 million of us, as well as the potentially 20 million in the diaspora, cannot solve this issue, whether through a political apparatus or we within civil society, we are not going to make it, nor do we deserve to make it. America doesn't call us when they have their issues. America has never called Afenifere or has never called Ohanes and Igbo to come and help them with their issues. So what are we doing? Why do we think that they are going to come and solve a multifaceted issue that has economic, cultural, geopolitical elements to it? It's not going to happen. So I think we need to be very clear-eyed about where we are, that we are on the precipice. We're already a failed state, as I outlined, but we are on the precipice of total collapse at this point. And the arrogance that the political class and the business class is showing is completely alarming. One last thing I would like to say is that when Nigeria does fall, because we will, and I believe that will happen within the next 2 to 3 years, given the level of insecurity that we're seeing in this country, and the fact that our security...
Many, of course, might differ on that. You said that in terms of falling, some would differ and say strongly that...
when the FCT, when children are being told to go home in the FCT, in the president's backyard because they can't guarantee their safety, what are we talking about? Why is that a debate? Are you telling me in the capital of Nigeria, which is in Abuja, that schools are being shut down, children are being told to study from their homes because the government, the local government, the FC minister, and the president himself cannot guarantee their safety in schools, and we're still having a debate of whether Nigeria is a failed state or collapsing? That's absolutely ridiculous. It's not a question anymore. And I wonder what it's going to take for us to wake up. Because, do we have to become like Sudan in order for us to wake up? Because that's exactly what is happening. We are being maligned by terrorist groups, mercenaries, and bandits, and there is no control over that. We had a brigadier general who was killed several weeks ago. Nothing has been done about that. We have children who are being kidnapped, women who are being kidnapped on a daily basis. There are parts of this country where you can't go. There are at least 10 states in this country where the government does not have control, where terrorists are demanding taxes from Nigerians. And we're sitting here debating whether or not we're a failed state. We've gone past the point of political correctness.
All right,
We've
Nnamdi.
gone past the point of marketing or demarketing. And we as Nigerians, our house is burning down and we have to take action.
All right, Nnamdi, thank you so much. We need to go on our final break. When we return, we're taking our final thoughts on this matter. Stay with us. We will be right back. Many thanks for staying with us. It's still Politics HQ on News Central Television. I still have Maobuye Nangi Obu, the Secretary General of the Ijaw Youth Council Worldwide. And of course, Nnamdi Chiekwu is an author and a member of the Civilian Accountability and Transparency Task Force. Gentlemen, thank you for staying with me. All right, as we wind down gradually, I'm coming back to you right now, Maobuye. Now, I mean, in 30 seconds, there are quite a couple of issues that the country is going through at the moment. Insecurity, being at the top. You have the economy, and then you also have, the politics itself. For you, if these issues are to be tackled, head on, what would you recommend should be done?
Well, the insecurity in Nigeria, I wouldn't say it's just domiciled in the north alone. However, there are still other security threats around the south, outside. But the major problem with this country is corruption. Nigerians are hungry. A lot of people are hungry. Nigeria is coming up with, from next year, we're told that we're going to be paying tax through our nose, and nobody has yet to also explain this to us. So they've been doing a lot of taxation here and there and all that. Monies are being spent. People are hungry. There's nothing on ground, no economic. That we need total economic reconstruction. In Nigeria, the economy is so bad, and people are really hungry. These governments seem not to have a way forward. Coupled with the fact that they also lack what it takes to also understand the security paraphernalia and how best to navigate that space. So the truth is, there's no hope for the Tinubu's administration. They do not have what it takes to solve our problems. So for me, I would just, beg Nigerians, if we still need to, sit back again to have a national confab to know if we're to disintegrate, or we're to sit back and see how we can tell Tinubu, please, we've had enough, and we've had enough of you. Don't come back again in 2027. And let 2027 not kill people, but the Tinubu's administration needs to give way for saner people to come in. Not the type of show of shame that we have today. So for me, that's nothing above, none of these issues is above the other. There's hunger and there's insecurity. But we're running away from, bandits, but without food in our belly. So how do we survive? We're being taxed, even there's nowhere to fend for. The places where our farmlands have been taken over and ravaged, our communities are now being taken over. The oil companies here are killing us with all their effluent, and there's environmental devastation. And when Nigeria goes to the UN, they ask for what they call reparation. So they kill us here in the Niger Delta, and up north there, the bandits kill the people. There's no way to farm. Even the oil companies here are killing us. So Nigeria, everything is just chaotic. It's catastrophe. That's what we have here. So the Tinubu's administration just needs to go, just needs to give way for saner people to take care of this country. So that time is now. Yes.
All right. How about you, Nnamdi Chiekwu? I would also like you to particularly talk, because I know that you are a Nigerian resident outside the country. What would you consider the biggest concern of many Nigerians in diaspora?
Well, I think the biggest concern in Nigeria is that we've always had the issue of economic management and trying to put food in our bellies. Hunger has always been a feature of the Nigerian experience, unfortunately. We have two additional dimensions today that make the Nigerian situation much more precarious. One is that we have insecurity around the country, and our security apparatus have been so compromised that they are unable to substantially check that insecurity. So that's number one. So not only do you not have any food to eat, you don't know what's going to happen to you when you walk out the door. The third dimension is that we are in a very volatile geopolitical environment globally right now, where nobody respects anything anymore. The big fish are eating the little fish, and Africa, eventually, we will get our comeuppance because we don't have a foothold and we don't have a say on what's happening. I think in the Nigerian context, what Nigerians need to understand is that our solution is no longer political. We have shown an inability, a lack of capacity, and a lack of willingness to orchestrate meaningful elections in the Nigerian context. And so the solution for us moving forward is societal. Nigeria, all our institutions have failed us. Our governments has failed us, religious institutions, our so-called intellectuals, and even our elders have failed us in the Nigerian experiments, as I like to call it. So Nigerians have to understand that it's we in civil society that must now take on the baton to save ourselves. If Nigeria falls, or quite frankly, when Nigeria falls, it won't be because of the malevolent actors amongst us. It will be because of the so-called good ones, the so-called citizens amongst us who either lacked the or lack the courage to actually go out and do something. And at the Civilian Accountability and Transparency Task Force, which is a civil society organization that I am part of, we are dedicating ourselves for substantial change. What is substantial change? It means, first of all, however ridiculous it might sound, that we have to annul this next election that's coming up. It is our belief that if this next election happens, the vested interests that have led Nigeria to where it is today will finally collapse the country.
You said annulling the next election, but Nigeria is a democracy, and of course, for change of leadership, there has to be elections. So
no, excuse me, my terminology should be to cancel the next election. Nigeria doesn't need another election. What Nigeria needs is a national dialogue. What Nigeria needs is for the 371 ethno-linguistic groups of this country to sit down for the first time in our history to say, how are we going to survive in this century? Because the rate we're going, we're not going to survive. The structure of the country, constitutionally, economically, is defunct. And so we need to start again, not to have another election where we turn over a dead mouse to another handler to go and try to resuscitate. That's not going to happen. We've seen that over the last 60 years. I don't know why we think 2027 is going to be any different.
All right, gentlemen, I'd like to say a big thank you for your time on the program this evening. Maobuye Nangi Obu, as Secretary General, Ijaw Youth Council Worldwide, and also Nnamdi Chiekwu. It's been a pleasure, gentlemen. Once again, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right. Well, this is the beat we can take tonight. In case you missed out, you can catch up on our YouTube platform. That's at News Central TV. You can also choose to follow us on social media. The handle is there on your screen. You can choose to follow me personally at Dapo at Digboye. Until I come your way tomorrow, good night.